The uncomfortable truth is most people don't quit Bitcoin because it failed. They quit because it didn't work fast enough for their expectations, not because the idea was wrong, not because the technology broke, but because waiting turned out to be far more difficult than clicking buy and feeling clever for a short while. Bitcoin doesn't lose people during crashes. Crashes are loud. Crashes feel dramatic. Crashes give you something to react to. Bitcoin loses people in silence, in those long stretches where nothing happens, no headlines, no excitement, no sense of progress, just time doing what time does best. That's where most Bitcoiners quietly disappear. And the strange part is this: from the outside, it doesn't even look like quitting. It looks like moving on, like losing interest, like deciding something else is more exciting now. But internally, that's where conviction quietly dies. The timeline nobody admits to having. Almost everyone enters Bitcoin with a hidden timeline. They may never say it out loud. They may even tell themselves they don't have one. But it's there. 6 months, a year, maybe 2, if they consider themselves patient. They imagine a moment where things finally click, where the waiting suddenly feels justified, where it all makes sense. And when that moment doesn't arrive, confusion sets in. Bitcoin, unfortunately, has never cared about personal schedules. It moves slowly, unevenly, often sideways, and quite frequently painfully boring. And boredom is dangerous, much more dangerous than volatility. Volatility scares people. Boredom drains them. Why waiting is psychologically exhausting. Waiting sounds noble when you talk about it. It sounds responsible, mature, almost wise. In practice, it's exhausting because waiting doesn't mean disengaging. It usually means watching the price, watching the news, watching other people online who always seem to be doing better than you. Every week, a new narrative. Every month, a new promise. Every cycle, someone confidently explaining why this time is different. And slowly, doubt creeps in. Not loud doubt, not panic, just a quiet little voice asking, "Am I wasting my time here?" That voice doesn't shout, it whispers, and whispers are harder to ignore. Most Bitcoiners don't quit alone. They quit while comparing their patience to someone else's confidence, comparing their quiet strategy to someone else's loud success. Comparison turns waiting into frustration, because suddenly holding doesn't feel disciplined, it feels like missing out. And, missing out, psychologically speaking, hurts far more than being wrong. So people adjust, they rotate into something else, they chase momentum, they tell themselves they're being flexible, not because they plan to, but because standing still starts to feel unbearable. Ironically, this is usually the exact moment when patience was about to matter most. Here's the part nobody really discusses. Most people don't announce that they quit Bitcoin. There's no dramatic farewell, no emotional post, no long explanation. They simply stop paying attention. They sell quietly, or they let convictions slowly erode until Bitcoin no longer matters. Years later, they'll say things like, "Bitcoin was too stressful, it was too unpredictable, it just wasn't for me," which is a polite way of saying, "I expected it to work faster." Bitcoin didn't fail them, their expectations did. Bitcoin doesn't reward belief, it rewards endurance. It doesn't ask how convinced you are, it asks how long you can stay calm without constant confirmation, how long you can hold something without applause, without reassurance, without the comforting feeling that everyone agrees with you. Many people mistake excitement for conviction. Excitement fades, endurance doesn't. Bitcoin works slowly on purpose. It filters impatience. It exposes unrealistic expectations. It quietly removes those who were never prepared to wait. Not everyone is meant to pass that test, and honestly, that's not an insult. It's simply how the system works. Here's the part most people never experience. Not because it doesn't happen, but because they don't stay long enough to see it. At some point, quietly, patience begins to pay. Not in fireworks, not in headlines, but in clarity. You realize you're no longer reacting, no longer checking every signal, no longer needing reassurance. Bitcoin hasn't changed. You have. Holding stops feeling heavy. Time stops feeling like the enemy. Uncertainty becomes manageable. That's the quiet advantage most people rush past. The people who make it through don't do anything spectacular. They don't predict tops. They don't time bottoms. They don't feel smart most of the time. They simply stay. They stay through boredom, through doubt, through long stretches where nothing happens. And one day, without announcing it, they realize they're standing somewhere they couldn't have rushed their way to. That's when Bitcoin stops feeling like a test and starts feeling like a quiet advantage. Most Bitcoiners don't quit because Bitcoin didn't work. They quit because patience asked for more than they expected to give. If this video feels uncomfortable, that's probably a good sign. It means you're asking the right questions. Stay sharp, stay patient, and try not to check the price every 5 minutes.